Balance Doctor. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Be sure to subscribe to The Kim Jacobs Show right on YouTube. Turn on your notification bell to all so you never miss a beat. And guess what? Every time you watch, you're going to receive a real relevant and relatable guest that's going to share with you a piece of the puzzle on this journey called life that will help you be able to manage just a little bit smoother. At the end of the day, the Kim Jacobs Show goal is to be able to provide balance to the world, one household at a time.
Kim Jacobs Show. You're watching Kim Jacobs Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. How are you, Dr. TJ Naiman?
I am fantastic, Kim. I'm so excited to be here with you on this first day of summer. And look at you. You look like Miss Sunshine. I love it.
I actually wore this because I needed kind of like a picker-upper myself today. And so I said, you know what, Kim, put on something bright and get a little more energized because it's been a lot going on, you know, in the land. There's so much happening across the land, but even just personally, for all of you that are joining in right now, I just recently have a really dear friend of mine and someone extremely dear to her. And I'm not going to reveal all of the details because I don't do that without the person revealing their own details. But the person transitioned from this earth to be with the Lord. And that just was a lot. It was a lot. This morning.
That is a lot. And Kim, I'm with you. I had a dear friend just in the last week, and so I understand. And condolences to your friend.
Thank you so much.
And that just makes it so much even more important what we're talking about today of living a legacy.
That's what I thought. I said, you know, and this is bizarre that all of this you told me backstage about your friend. I told you about mine, and for this to be happening and you be here today to talk about how to carve our names on the hearts of people, not only on tombstones. This is such an appropriate topic today. So I am hoping that everyone is quickly grabbing your virtual seats. Thank you, Mackenzie, for being backstage as well today. And we're going to have a great episode lined up for you. Let's see who's coming in to visit. Mackenzie, let's pop some of, don't pop some people's comments. So I'll manage for 1 second. I don't want certain things. I'm sorry about that. Because it's like some people only.
All right. Liking that blue. Am I blue? Am I blue?
You look good. You look good. Give me a second here. Yes. Good morning, Tanya Anderson. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. Good morning. Hello, everyone chiming in from Austin, Texas. Glad to see you today. Austin. Good day, awesome people. Javiv says. Good day, awesome people. Good evening from Lagos, Nigeria. Okay. Hello, MD Alamin. And Jeremy says, God bless you both. God bless you too.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Grand Rising, Leah said. Greetings and love from Birmingham, Alabama. All right. Listen, you all, as you come in, make sure you share the broadcast, share it with your friends, invite them to be a part of the discussion. And we want to make sure that we have a great episode for you all today. I'm going to go ahead and introduce TJ Naiman to you all. She is a motivational speaker, transformational coach who believes that the proper tools and resources will help individuals fulfill their calling and their purpose in life while creating a living legacy. So I'm so happy to have you with us today, TJ Naiman.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for having me. I'm delighted to be here today.
So we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, and I don't even know really where we want to begin, except for just maybe taking us back for a moment to find out what are some of the things that motivated you in your younger years to become who you are today, and some of the things you had to experience and overcome to become this person that says, hey, I'm going to have a living legacy. I'm going to start carving my name on hearts. All of that when we come back right after this commercial break. We'll be right back, everyone.
I'm attorney Kenneth D. Snow, and at the Snow Legal Group, justice is our job.
For more than 20 years, Attorney Snow has been fighting for justice and winning cases in the Carolinas by providing aggressive representation in criminal defense, domestic violence, family law, serious injury, and wrongful death. If you've been injured or lost a loved one in an accident, including tractor trailer or rideshare, you need the Snow Legal Group by your side, fighting for justice and fighting for you. Visit snowlegal.com. Call 704-358-0026 for a free virtual consultation. Located at 6827 Fairview Road, Suite D in South Park.
All right, everyone. We're back with Dr. TJ Naiman. And Dr. TJ, guess what? One thing that I do before I go live every episode, which I've never not done this, except for maybe one other time, and I corrected it like I'm getting ready to do now. I always say a word of prayer before I go live. And so I'm so sorry that I didn't do that backstage today. But right now, I would like to just say, Heavenly Father, Lord, I just ask that you allow us to salt this earth with the gifts and the talents that you've given us, the things that you believe we're capable of accomplishing on this earth. Lord, thank you for trusting us with these gifts. And we ask that people that are on the receiving end be blessed and that lives be changed. I pray in Jesus' name. You can pray in whomever name you do. Amen.
Amen. Amen. This is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Yes. Oh, yes. Magnify the Lord with me. Okay, we can go on and on and on.
Okay, up in here.
All right, so you can tell we're gonna have a good time today, right?
We're already having a good time.
Yes, absolutely. So everyone, make sure that if you have questions or comments or thoughts, please feel free to type them. We'll pull them up throughout the broadcast. Dr. TJ, take us back, if you will, on your journey.
Well, Kim, I was fortunate enough to grow up in a very strong Christian home. We were not wealthy. In fact, I always say I was born in Southern Illinois, and my daddy was a coal miner. And then when I was 3, we moved to California, and I lost the accent. Thank goodness, right? I lost that accent.
No, I love that.
And then my dad did heavy construction, and he was just such a hard worker. I grew up in a really strong, believing home that just set a foundation for me that no matter what, we went through all kinds of struggles. Like I said, we were not a wealthy family. In fact, we didn't have a whole lot as far as the financial, but we sure had a lot of love, and we had a lot of support. And I was taught that whether it's in good times or bad, that God is going to be there for you and that's your foundation. So that has always been my foundation. At the age of 12, and I know this might sound crazy to some people, but at the age of 12, I actually received a call to ministry. And I started at 12 years old.
That's
interesting. I've been teaching ever since. And now that I'm, in my early 20s.
Early 20s. So, that's hilarious. It's okay. I support you. We're girls. So we can celebrate each other.
I'm identifying as a 24-year-old today.
That's a good thing. Is whatever you call into existence into your own life. Call it in as if it is. As a man thinketh, so is he, right?
There you go. Thank you, Sister Kim. Thank you. So I grew up with that foundation, but life hasn't always been easy. And even as we were talking backstage, that sometimes you just get knocked down and knocked down and knocked down, and you start believing negative things about yourself. And so I'm bringing it now back to just even in the last 10 years of starting to just accept that I wasn't worth anything. Life wasn't good. It was never going to turn around. And believing that, and not really realizing I'm putting that out there before I even go somewhere. And so I'm excited for 2022 because my mantra for this year is breakthrough in 22.
Breakthrough in 22.
You like that?
Y'all put that in the comment section. Breakthrough in 22. Yes.
That's right. Breakthrough in 22. And I've had a lot of great support. You've had several of them on your show. In fact, my brother IB was on yesterday. There have been individuals that have just been so supportive. We support each other and we speak life.
Yes.
So
yes.
I want to make sure that what we do today, and I know this is what your show is about, is speaking life into people. And with this word legacy, I found out that the word legacy in the Oxford Dictionary, the synonym is gift. And I know that you probably, like me, taught our children that when you're a guest in someone's home, that you leave them a gift. Well,
Yeah.
I'm proposing that as we enter, when we have relationship with other individuals and interact with them, that we leave them that we're visitors in their life and guests in their life, we leave them the most important gift of all, which is a positive imprint of us on their life. So my thing has been for quite a few years, actually, is after I've been with you, I hope you'll say, I hope I get to meet her again, or boy, was that fun. And she was such an encouragement. That's my goal.
That's a good goal to have, a good goal. And I see all of legacy equals gift and breakthrough in 2022. All of the people are just chiming in. Good day to both of you and to everyone. Breakthrough, breakthrough. Dr. TJ, you are on fire. Hallelujah. Amen. Hello from South Africa. Dr. TJ, you are 24. Love you, low.
That's my sister. That's Dr. Kade.
You're like, okay, I'm right here with you. Hallelujah. Amen. Now, when you talk about living a legacy, that's a discussion in its own package. I would love for you to talk to us about what it means to really leave a legacy. And also, I do need to tell you too, Dr. TJ, because this also has never happened, but 3 of my children have cystic fibrosis, right? And I don't know if you knew that, but for you all, this show is about how we balance different aspects of our lives.
Yes.
We balance what we've had to overcome to become who we are today. And Dr. TJ is here talking about her story. But as a mother of 4 children that are still here on this earth and one that transitioned to heaven, 5 children, I am getting a call from my dental office of my daughter who's at an appointment, literally, and the doctor is going to call me. And so when that happens, I have to take the call.
You take that call.
When that happens, you may see me put you on the screen, full screen, because I don't have time to explain it at that point. And I'll have to just take the 3-minute call and come right back on as a courtesy.
And you do what you have to do, because that's what we're talking about today too. I mean, that's part of your legacy, to be there for your children. That's one of the most important things. I mean, isn't it awesome that at some point someone will be talking to your children, they will say, my mother, Kim, was there for me at any time. She was even on her talk show and the call came in from the dentist and she took it. That is leaving that living legacy that we're talking about. And a living legacy, and again, the word legacy being gift, it's often thought of what are you going to leave me when you're gone? But why would we wait for when we're gone? Let's leave a legacy now. And so part of that, I would tell you, you'd asked even about my earlier journey. One of the books that I read many, many years ago, it was actually in the doctoral program, and it's Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, right? I know
that is a game changer, right?
It was a game changer. It totally was. And I still use it today in my leadership classes. But habit number 2 is begin with the end in mind.
Yes.
And right, Mr. Covey actually, and I do this exercise in my classes, he has us go to our own funeral and sit there and listen to 4 different individuals speak on our behalf. A family member, a community member, a friend, and then someone just that's out there that might see us in a grocery store or somewhere and speak on our behalf. And he says, go back and think, what would you want them to say? What would you want them to say about you? If you want them to say, well, she was a wonderful, caring, kind, compassionate, trustworthy person, that's beginning with the end. But now you come back to today and you live a caring, compassionate, trustworthy, faithful person. You live it out. That's living your legacy. Live with intention of what is it I would want someone to say about me? And then now let's live it. And that actually is your living legacy. So not what do you want to leave behind later? What do I want to leave behind today? Yes. You right now are pouring your legacy into me. And I'm so excited. I couldn't wait to be on here with you today because I know that you are changing, as your mantra is changing one household at a time. I know you're changing more than one household at a time, but as you and I spoke even earlier, if one person today realizes you are here, so whoever I'm speaking to, you are here today in 2022.
That's right.
Because you have a purpose that needs to be fulfilled.
Yes.
Viktor Frankl, who was a prisoner in a Nazi camp, later said that every person has a purpose that no one else can fulfill. It's for you. And I loved when my brother IB yesterday mentioned how the Creator created us within our mother's womb so wonderfully and fearfully made.
Yes.
And all the gifts, skills, and abilities we need to leave this living legacy while we are still here.
Wow, I love it. And so as people are trying to figure out how to leave a lasting legacy, what do they need to do to even just begin? They're going to do this whole go to the funeral, ask a family member, ask a community member, ask a friend. But is there something that they can do personally to make sure that they are personally starting in the path of building a legacy and preparing to leave it, so that they're walking in the moment each day?
Great question. And yes, and it's something I'm sure that you do every day, that I do every day, and others do too. But if you're not familiar with doing this, the first thing you want to do is take a self-reflection.
That's what
and
I
it's
thought
just
you were
looking
gonna say.
at
I know the answers to what you're going to say, but I want to hear it so they can hear it too.
Yes. It's self-reflecting. It's taking that hard look and saying, how am I living my life?
Yes.
What are, and a lot of it, Kim, it starts here in the mind. And again, I know many of your guests before have even, addressed this. It's how we think. And often in scripture, it says, transform your mind. One of my favorite scriptures is Philippians 4:8. I always call it like, whatever, it's the whatever verses, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is true, what is ever of a good report, think on these things.
Yes.
Rather than the negative, rather than those many years of me just saying, you're no good, you're nothing, you're not worth it. And it was so, in one sense, it was easier to say that because then I didn't have to, when I received any disappointment, it's like, well, see, I told you were no good. I told you weren't worth anything. But that just continues to keep you in that same state. So it's also, as Dr. De La Toro McNeil says in his book, Shift into a Higher Gear, take those negative statements and reframe them into positive statements. And for an example, you might say, well, I have no gifts and skills. Now, we've already told you do. The Creator told you do. But you might say, I don't have any gifts and skills. Instead, reframe it with, I'm working on those skills and abilities I need to fulfill my life.
I love that. Now, I'm big on role playing, Dr. TJ. You know that personally. So
I do.
When we come back after this commercial break, I would like for us to role play a few declarations. And so we can just throw out some negative ones and say, how would we reframe it? And let's do that together. And then also, any of you all that want to come on the screen to even make it more entertaining and fun and see what you feel about this, feel free to use this link that I just put in the comment section, copy and paste it into your browser, and you too can be a part of our role play session when we come back. So
come
let
on,
me,
AA Posse, join me.
yeah, y'all come on the screen if you want, for sure. And so today's episode is also sponsored by Silver Shield Security. Let me pull them up as well. Silver Shield Security. You can learn more about them at silvershield-security.com. They're in the North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia area, if I'm not mistaken. And their phone number is 704-440-4688. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
It's not just another.
All right, everyone, and we're back talking with Dr. TJ Naiman, and she's talking to us about how to carve our names on hearts, not just on tombstones. So we're honored to have her here today, and I would like for us to just role play. So I'll be, I guess people say negative Nancy or whatever, right? So I'll be that person for a minute. I mean, I'm just so disappointed in my life. Things are just not going the way I want them to go. I mean, this is so aggravating. What are your thoughts, TJ?
Well, Kim, I would like to ask you about your thoughts, because I can tell you how wonderful you are. I know how wonderful you are, but you're never going to believe it from me. So tell me something good that's happened to you just in the last week. One thing.
It's hard to think of something good that didn't happen.
Did you wake up today? Did you wake up today?
Yeah, I did wake up. Yeah. But I don't know
Excellent.
was that good, bad, or not? Because at the end of the day, I don't know what value I bring to the world.
Well, tell me something else that you've done that contributed to somebody else. Did you even open a door for someone or smile?
You know what? I did. I was actually in the grocery store the other day and I paid for somebody's food behind me.
Kim, that is fantastic. You have no idea the ripple effect that you made in that person's life. I bet they then went and did another random act of kindness for someone else.
That's funny that you say that.
Yeah.
Actually, guess what? They paid for the person behind them. So I didn't even think about that. That's so good.
Yes, yes. It does. It just changes everything. So Kim, I want you to restate that. Instead of saying you're not worth anything, would you please just turn that into a positive declaration?
Okay. So I think that who I am is I'm not like everybody else. I'm different, but I do know that God has a purpose for me to be able to help other people. And so he just gives me creative ways to do that.
And did you hear how different that sounded? You sounded lighter.
It's the doctor's
Take
office.
that call. And Kim
Pardon me.
Jacobs now is going to take a call while we
Okay, Dr.
continue to talk about leaving your legacy. What are some of the negative statements that you are making about your life? And go ahead and put a few in the chat of the positive declarations. I would love for you to today have a change in your thinking process. So instead of those negative things, write something positive in the chat. And maybe Mackenzie, if you're seeing any of those positives, you could let us know. What is it that you are contributing to society today? Where is it that you're making a change? Where is it you would like to make a change? Is there some area where you're hoping that you actually can make a difference in someone else's life? Is it in your family or is it in your community? I'll give another example. As Kim and I were role playing at the grocery store, I did come out of the store the other day, and there was a woman sitting on the sidewalk who it was apparent that she was homeless. And I don't know. I know that you're often told don't hand out money, give them food or give them something else. But I don't know. I just felt in my spirit that I was to give her some money. And so I went over and handed it to her. But instead of just handing it to her and walking away, I actually stopped and said, "What is your name?" And she looked at me for a few moments, and I'm sure she was kind of just questioning, like, am I going to turn her in somewhere or what am I going to do? And finally she said, "My name is Joy." And she said it with a smile. And we stood there and talked for the longest time. And I truly believe that that may have been the only time that day that someone asked her, "What is your name?" And recognize that she is an individual that has purpose. Many of us would have walked by and thought, she has no purpose, she has no mission. No, she has a purpose and she has a mission. And I continue, because that was weeks ago, I continue to pray for her all the time that, Lord, just let her know what is her purpose and mission, and also help her, bring some help for her. So as we're talking today with Kim about leaving a legacy and executing what it is that you want to do in life. Where do you want to be known even after you're gone? What do you want people to remember you for? Do you want them to remember you for your smile or for your humor? I do. I do want to be remembered for being humorous. I try to be funny. Sometimes my kids will say, "Mom, that's not really funny." And I'm like, "Well, I think it's funny." So how are you making a difference in somebody else's life today? Charles Swindoll says that he believes 90% of what happens to us has to do with our attitude, because we're all going to experience challenges. There are going to be things that knock us down or are disappointing or are not what we want to hear or to have happen to us. But he says it's how you handle that disappointment that's going to make the difference. And I truly do believe that. I know this year I'm on a different journey, And I want to thank Papa Les Brown. I've had the opportunity in this last year to be a part of the Hungry for Greatness Speakers Academy. And just sitting with Papa Brown on Thursday nights totally transformed my view of, and there we go. There's an ebook that came out, the group, The Igniters. We have a book on messages to fuel your success. And I'm on the new journey this year of, as I said before, breakthrough in 22 and thinking and speaking positively over myself, over my family, over my community, and over every one of you today.
Awesome. I could hear what you were saying. I was stumbling, talking to the doctor. The doctor probably like, well, what is happening? I said, listen, I have to.
Did you ask him what his legacy is, Kim? Did you say, what's your legacy?
I didn't. I was like, I just need to know about my daughter's situation.
Right.
But I focused on that. But you know what? It's interesting that this happened because I'm a big believer that, be here now, focus on what's happening, be in the moment. And I write about it in my book, Extreme Balance Makeover, about how people should, like disconnect and be in that moment type of thing. But then there are situations that are rare like that I'm here with you, but there's that has to also happen. So then you have to show some level of flexibility in your life, even as you're building your legacy, as you're carving your names on hearts and not just on tombstones. You have to have flexibility in that journey too, especially if you're in charge of other people's lives that are dependent upon you too, if they're minors.
And Kim, if we learned nothing through this pandemic, it was how to be flexible and how to pivot.
Yes.
Right, that at any moment, we don't know what's going to happen.
Yes. Well, today's episode is also sponsored by Attorney Charles Everidge with Hunter Everidge Law Firm. I was trying to save you earlier by putting that up, but I could see Mackenzie wasn't looking backstage at the thing. I was like, I'm trying to get you to a commercial break. I was like, I don't know how to communicate.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll be right back talking with Dr. TJ.
When someone has lost a loved one, they want to know what exactly happened. They want to know, is the other person going to be held responsible? And they want closure. At Hunter and Everidge, we help clients that have lost a loved one move on, and to do that with dignity and respect that they deserve.
All right, everyone. And we're talking with Dr. TJ Naiman, who's doing a marvelous job teaching us today how to carve our names on hearts while we are living our legacy. And what are some of the things you had to walk through to actually get to the place where you got past some of those really difficult moments in your life to know that this is where you needed to be?
Yes, the last 12 or 13 years has not been the easiest time. And that seems like a long time, doesn't it? I mean,
yes, it's hard, but it's probably not.
Yes, but as you know, there are things that happen in our lives that life doesn't go the way that we planned out. And Kim, I'm a planner. I mean, I teach, I teach organization, I teach leadership, I teach strategic planning and change theory. And I've always been a planner. Even as a child, I was a planner of, and I will tell you how in the box type of person I am, that even as a child, when I would come home from school for lunch, and I loved M&Ms.
Okay.
And just plain, right? Yeah. And I would separate them by color. So, there's the red.
Oh, no, you got it bad, TJ. I didn't have it that bad. I didn't do that. You said you separate them all by color?
Separate them all by color. And then I eat them according to color.
Oh,
the one that had the most down. Kim, I will tell you one of the most traumatic things in my life, and it's kind of just a joke, but it's traumatic things, when they added green to the package. That threw me off. What do you mean? I already had the separations, and now you've added green. That changed everything in that package of M&Ms. So,
wow. So one slight change threw the whole thing up, because you were used to your red, your yellows. What other color did you do? Chocolate? What colors?
Well, the browns, they always had the most of the browns. So I would eat those first.
Flavor. I meant brown, right?
Right, would have the most. And so, And I mean, that's just the way my mind thinks. I would also play with buttons as a child, and I would separate them into sizes and then play school. And so I'm a very in the box thinker is my point of this. And it's difficult for me when something from the outside comes that changes the way.
So I just threw your whole world off when I put you front and center. You're like, wait, what? Did you say that?
I didn't know if it was part of your training program. Like, let's bring you on and now let's see if you can do it.
Well, then guess what? You passed with flying colors. That's
well, thank you. Thank you that I know Miss Lisa prayed for me this morning, and Miss Ann and all my BAA posse group is back there praying as well. So thank you for that. Awesome. So to come back to it though, change was not. And so it was around 2007 or 8. And Kim, this is something I don't even usually talk about. It's not my favorite topic, but I had been married for 27 years and I ended up in divorce, which was devastating because also I was, a minister on staff, and I just knew that my whole life was going to change. And while the church I was on staff at did not take me off staff, I did. I took myself off staff. Yeah. Part of that self-reflection and just coming back and having to, work on my own life. So there was a divorce that just totally threw me sideways, and a whole different lifestyle that I was going to need to work through. And I currently work 3 jobs. I was working 4 jobs at one time. I actually was teaching film acting at a studio a few years ago. So role playing, let's do it. I love to role play.
Well, our stories are very similar. So you already know that. And I've talked to you some in the backstage, but yeah, when you have to make an immediate shift and change, and life was not what you thought it was going to be. Not that it's now negative, it's just that it's different, and it is what it is. So,
and I will tell you what got me through that is God. And here's what's interesting, Kim. The divorce was 2009. Okay. But back in 1999, when things were, party like it's 1999, right? And things were going so well. I was on staff at a church, and I was out having devotions out in the beautiful Crene del Mar on the hills.
Okay. Yeah, fixing my lips differently now. Like, okay.
I was out there again. Things were going well. I was on staff at a church, and I hear the Lord tell me, hold on. And I'm thinking, well, of course I would. What would I not hold on to? I didn't even know, Kim, that he was telling me, hold on, in 1999, that almost 10 years later is when I was going to need to hear that word, that when life just totally, leveled me down and threw me into a fetus position, that those 2 words, hold on, were going to become so important in my life. And along with that, my friends and family, and the Bible study I was part of, and individuals who would call me in the morning and say, are you out of bed? And I didn't even really want to answer the phone. Wow. And they would even come over and just say, no, we're going out today. We're getting out of here. We're moving on. We're moving on. So that was a big transition that I will tell you still today affects me. But I'm moving on because I have a plan and a purpose. I know God has the plan.
God has the ultimate plan, right?
How's your plan working out? Because my plan didn't work out so well.
My plan clearly didn't work the way I thought it was going to work.
He promised.
But I thought it was God. The thing is, what you're saying right now, Dr. TJ, I can tell you, I'm sure you, myself, and any other woman or man that's watching today feels like, oh, I thought I was doing what God's plan was for my life. So it's like, what happens whenever you think that you're operating in God's plan all along and felt like you have full endorsement to do everything that you were already doing. And it's like, then there's a shift or a pivot. You're like, hey, what's happening? What's going on? I didn't know that.
That's deep, Kim. Yeah. That's because you're right. You think you're in God's plan, but we're human. Right. We have human mindsets. But what's so cool is the grace and mercy of God, that no matter what, today, his mercies are new every morning. And so today, those mercies are new. And we have the opportunity every day to start new and to start fresh. and to wake up. And as I just heard my sister, Miss Lisa, say this morning again, today is the day that the Lord hath made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it.
Yes. And I often talk about just trusting in the Lord with all of my heart. And we know that's in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, which is all my heart. Lean not into my own understanding, but in all of my ways, I acknowledge him, and he will direct my path. And so I do believe that with my whole heart, that he's going to always do things that's in my best interest, whether I know they're in my best interest or not. It is in my best interest, and it's working out for my good. And what that good looks like, we don't even know. Like, we don't know what he's sparing us from. Like, in my situations, I have no idea that you don't even know what you don't know. That's the thing. I don't know what I don't know. So whatever God is trying to spare me from is something that benefits my life some kind of way, you know?
Exactly. Because he does say he has a plan and a purpose to give you a hope and a future, and not to harm you. And you're right. What we think is the good plan is not always a good plan. And so we have to just rest and trust in him that whatever happens today is for the best.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. So we're learning a lot today. Woo! And hopefully you all are being inspired. When we come back after this commercial break, we're going to go straight to some of our viewers' comments. And Mackenzie, be prepared to pop them on the screen right after we come back from this commercial break. Listen, before you take the break, we're going to actually introduce you to, which everybody in the world should already know, Dr. Les Brown, Mr. Les Brown, international motivational speaker. And make sure you all go and subscribe to all of his different platforms. I will actually be posting them throughout the different shows where you can go and actually subscribe, like, and follow all of his different social media handles as well. But today's episode is sponsored by Dr. Les Brown, and we thank him for being a living legacy. Now, if nobody's a living legacy, Les Brown is. We're going to take a look at this right now. We'll be right back. Put this up. I'm going to add this, Mackenzie, myself.
Decisions, and our decisions make us. You have some.
Oh, are you doing something to it or no? Oh, it's just happening on its own. Okay, you can drink water anyway. So both of us can drink water.
You caught me drinking.
Take a water break for a second.
You caught me drinking.
All right, everyone. We are back and talking with Dr. TJ Naiman. Again, we can drink our water too, even during the whole show. So keep that in mind. Actually, we're going to go to our virtual studio audience comments at this point. Mackenzie, thank you so much. Eugene says, love your vibrance, Dr. TJ over there.
Thank you, sister.
Lisa, one of your prayer partners, says, I am glad you were anchored even when you did not know it. The one says, good morning. How's everyone doing? And TJ, you are fashionably on time and vibrating at the highest level right now.
That's my brother.
Arthi says, mine is creating compassionate leaders of influence. That's my living legacy.
I love that, Kim. I love that.
Yeah, go back for a second.
Yeah, could we go back to that? Because that's amazing. I had asked, as you were taking your call, I asked them to put their legacies into the chat. Okay. And so Arthi Moore has put that she's creating compassionate leaders of influence. I mean, look at that. That's going to have that rippling effect of what she's putting into someone's life. They will put into the next person's life, which will put into the next person's life. And that's what we have to be doing, is influencing our society for positive and for good. As you mentioned earlier, there's a lot going on in today's society.
Yes, it is.
I believe there's a lot of angry people. I believe there's a lot of desperate people and despondent. But look at the hope that you bring every day into individuals' lives through your show here.
Oh, thank you.
Which then encourages us to go out. When you go out today at the store, just smile at someone.
Yes.
Just smile.
It's free to smile. You don't even have to pay for it. Just
and we're not wearing the masks anymore, so smile.
And speak to people. My son, actually, my 17-year-old now, he started a challenge where every time he goes to the gym or to the grocery store, he literally says, I hope you all are having a great day. And I hope that you continue to have a great day. He'll just say something to everyone, and they're all like,
yes.
Like they can't, some people can't believe it.
how's your day going? I'll ask them when I'm in line, how's your day going, to the cashier. And sometimes they're shocked, and a friend of mine said one of the things that she had learned that I know I was taught when I was growing up is if someone is wearing a name tag, how's your day going today, Kim? Right. And people like to hear their names. When I teach, as every student, and I teach college, so it's not the little ones, but as every student walks in, I say hello to them and use their name. And it just lets them know they are important and that this is their time to shine. And they'll say, oh, professor, I'm going to miss your class. I'm like, no, it's not my class. I already took it. I passed it. This is your class.
This is for you. This is strictly for you.
And the focus is on you. When I get into class, put everything away and focus on my students.
That's good. Good. More comments, Mackenzie. Ain't over 10 of somebody said that when you were doing the Eminem thing, I think they're talking to each other in the studio audience.
You know what? I've gotten therapy over it. I've gotten therapy over it. I just don't need M&Ms anymore.
So you never know what the comments are that's coming in here. Keep it going. Let's see. Great show, Lisa.
There's Miss Lisa right there.
Great show. Carving your name on hearts. I love that, Janice says. All right, let's keep your comments coming. Let's see. I believe in living a legacy rather than leaving a legacy. Talk about that for a second, Dr. TJ.
And Arthi Moore, we're on the same page there. I love that she says that. She's the one that's also leaving a legacy of compassionate leaders that, yes, don't wait till you're gone. Do it now. Spend time with your loved ones now. Mm-hmm. Leave that lasting imprint that we talked about before. Leave that gift. No matter who you're talking with, no matter where you're going, just make sure that when you leave, again, I love to play tennis and pickleball. Pickleball is one of my new things.
Oh, I like this.
Right? It's a lot of fun. But I'm not the best tennis player, and that's not a shock to anybody. But even when I play, it's a hobby to me. It's something fun that when I leave, I don't want them to say whether I was a good or bad tennis player. What I want is for them to say, I hope she comes back. I hope we get to play tennis with her again. Or I hope we'll see her on the pickle court again because she's fun. She needs a few tennis lessons, but she's fun.
That's true. Good point. Good point. More comments. Let's see. Any other comments coming in? Knowing your worth, Dennis says. Congratulations on your book, Dr. TJ. Let's put that up for those of you that's just joining again. We have here, and let's move the comment off for 1 second. Step Up. Tell everybody about your book one more time.
It's a compilation of the group, the Igniters, from Hungry for Greatness with Papa Brown. And it's called Step Up, Speak Life, and Execute. And so you'll see in there, I don't remember if there's 14 or 15 individuals in there that are telling you how to step up, speak life, and execute in a variety of areas. And we have a few individuals in there that are in the mental health and wellness arena. So their messages are going to be how you can step up, speak life, and execute in your own life about mental wellness. Mine, of course, my chapter's on step up, speak life, and execute your legacy. So mine is on what we're talking about today, how to leave a lasting and positive imprint on the lives of those you come across on a daily basis. And here's the thing, Kim, you don't pick and choose who you're going to leave that lasting imprint on. It's whoever you come in contact with.
Yeah, just anybody. And even if you leave some type of thing that you never intended to leave, then finding a way to even course correct it if given the opportunity. Because there are sometimes that you may not have the intention of bringing any kind of bad vibes to someone, but that's what they walked away with from whatever they felt or encountered with you. Then you definitely, at least I can't speak for other people. I don't want any person on this earth to have that feeling with me. So I will go to extremes to find out what can I do to try to course correct it. Now, there are some situations that I'm not given the opportunity to course correct. And so what can you do about that? All I can do is just say, oh, well, I'll pray for the situation, ask for forgiveness if that's necessary, and move on. But do you have any advice on how people can handle situations like that they're attempting to leave a positive legacy, but everything's not as positive as they thought it was?
I believe you have it correct, though, Kim. You can't control somebody else's response to what you do. Right. So if you are doing it with purity in heart of what you're talking to someone about or how you're leaving it, there's nothing you can do about the way they receive it. Now, if there's some way that, like you had said, if you found out that you had hurt them and there's an opportunity to go and right that, that wrong, then yes, go ahead. But sometimes you can't. And that's where then you do just pray, pray that the Holy Spirit will minister to them or help them or
Very
something
good.
else. So you can only do what's in your own control. And I found out you can't control other individuals. You can't make them believe or think or act. And nor do we want to, because again, we live in a mosaic. That's one of the things I think we also have to recognize in society today. We are all different.
Yes.
We all have different likes. Some of you, when I said M&Ms, are like, oh, why would anybody ever eat an M&M? Although I don't know why you wouldn't. So
right. I love plain M&Ms for sure, but that was.
We all have different likes, and we have to recognize that and allow each other to be who we are, who God created us to be. Now, again, with that self-reflection of how can I be? Oh, here's another one. I love this from Dr. De La Toro McNeil. Can you today be 1% better than you were yesterday?
Yes. My son just said that. We were talking about 2:00 this morning, actually. And my 25-year-old son, Frank Jr., he was like, Mom, my goal is just to be every day just 1% better than I was the day before. So whatever I need to do to make that happen. And he was using that exact example. So that's just incredible.
Yes, if you do that every day, then by the end of the year, you're 365% better than you were.
Yeah, there you have it. Good philosophy. Good philosophy.
It was Dr. De La Toro McNeil in his book.
All right. Listen, right after this commercial break, what I would love for us to talk about, Dr. TJ, is anything else that you think would be some tips or pointers for people with everything that's happening in this world. I just want to make sure that people leave knowing that they are inspired to move forward with what God gave them to do, what he trusted them to do within their hands. That's it. What are we to do to be able to really make a difference with the dash that we have? When you're talking about tombstones, we know the whole dash story, where we all have our birth date, we have our death date, but it's that dash. And I don't know who the originator of the quotes are, but the dash that makes the difference. What do we want to be remembered for our dash? That's what we're going to be known for. So let's talk about your theory on that when we come back, right after our next episode sponsor, Attorney Charles Everidge from Hunter Everidge Law Firm. They are in the North Carolina area. They are in Richmond, Virginia, and now they are also in Montgomery, Alabama, because Attorney Everidge that's his hometown. So he said that he wanted to open a firm there as well, dealing with disability, personal injury, wrongful death of a loved one. And you can reach out to them at hunter-everidge.com. We'll be right back.
I'm Attorney Charles Everidge. I started out representing insurance companies until my father was seriously injured at work. 4 of his fingers were amputated. Our family went through a lot, so I know what you're going through as an injured worker. If you've been hurt on the job, call me now. I'll fight to get the workers' comp benefits you may deserve. I'll fight for you like family. Put my experience to work for you. Call 704-457-5000, the first call for injured workers.
All right, everyone, and we're back. We're talking with Dr. TJ Naiman. And see, now you got me thirsty over here, Dr. TJ. I almost choked on a piece of ice, though, so I might not need to do that as the host. So I'm like, okay. Anyway, we're talking with Dr. TJ Naiman, and she's been giving us some great pointers today on how we can carve our name into hearts. I want people to know how they can stay connected with you before we go any further. So give people how they can stay connected.
There you go. You can email me at tjn, at tjnaiman.com, or through my LinkedIn, or on Facebook at tjnaiman.com, and Instagram at Dr. TJ Naiman. And I would love to connect with you if you want to personally find out about leaving your legacy or work together. Please contact me. I would love that.
Excellent, everyone. So make sure you all stay connected with Dr. TJ Naiman. And then how do they get your material here as well, your book? I
would say email me, because it's breaking. It actually just came out in the last week or so. Okay. So just go ahead and email me, and then I can send you that link.
Yeah, make sure you don't miss the opportunity to hear this great teaching from Dr. TJ Naiman and Dr. Les Brown. That could be his new title on the front of the book too, because he's formerly a doctor now
Yes.
as well. All right, so what other advice do you have for everyone that's here today?
Well, Kim, I love that you mentioned that poem, The Dash, and it's by Linda Ellis. And I know that because I actually use it in my leadership class. So I loved it when you brought it up. Like, yes, I love The Dash, because you're right. It's not the beginning date, which is, your birth date, and the end date, of course, your last day here on earth. Not your last day ever, but just your last day here. But it's what happens in that dash. What is it that is going to be so important that people remember you by? And you had said, what are maybe some tips? Well, the first off, I think, is just breathe and breathe. And I will tell you that even during the times that were the toughest for me, this may sound silly, Kim, but I actually carried a card around that said breathe.
Yeah, because you can forget to do that sometimes. It's like such tense moments, and like they can take your breath away, literally,
Exactly. So I think the first thing is breathe. It's going to be recognized. It's going to be okay. It really is, even in those dire times. I have a sign in my kitchen that says, "This too shall pass." Now would be good, but it's not always now. Sometimes it takes a while for things to go through. So recognize it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, because I'm a person of faith, I would say turn to your Creator, turn to God, and ask for guidance. And I do that. I do that all day long, not just in the morning time during devotions. All day long, I'm asking.
Me too. Right? All day.
All day. Lord, let my mouth speak those things that are going to be positive. Let my feet go where you want them to go, and not go where they're not supposed to go. Put my hands to task where you want them to be put, and
only where you want
only, and bring them back where they're not. So I think some of those things, breathing, recognize who your Creator is, asking about purpose. I know I'm going to kill this gentleman's name, and I actually even looked it up yesterday so I would say it right, but Nietzsche, I think it's supposed to be Nietzsche.
I don't know. I know the name, but I think I said it the same way you did, and I think I'm saying it wrong.
And I even did the pronunciations yesterday so I'd get it right, but
isn't that interesting how we learn stuff wrong, and even when you think you're getting it right, you still do it wrong because you've already learned it wrong? It's like, come on, Kim, that's the wrong.
Yeah, I'm going to blame that professor I had that told me not to put it right. But he says, he who has a why to living can bear with almost any how. Yes. So if you know your why, so I would say find out your why. What is your purpose? And often, we make it this big thing. I wonder what my purpose in life is. Well, almost all the time, your purpose is going to be connected with your natural abilities and skills and talents. And so what is it you're good at? What do you enjoy? We serve a God that wants you to be in fulfillment, not always happy, but joy. And joy is contentment in whatever situation. You can be joyful even in the most horrific situations. Your story with IB yesterday was so inspiring, and what that young man went through.
Can you believe
it?
Look
at him.
And he's still smiling, that great big smile, and that energy and excitement of working with youth and inspiring the youth. That's unbelievable. From what he personally had to overcome, he could have easily just given up. He could have,
right? And he understands his why. And who's he married to? Joy.
Isn't that the best? How ironic. Literally. He has somebody that brings joy.
Right? And that's if things aren't going well, change your attitude, transform your mind, put in a positive declaration, and also look for individuals who can assist you.
That's good.
Who are you hanging with? Who are you hanging with? Hang with individuals that are going to be positive for you. I have a lot of individuals from my family to my friends to my BAA posse family that just speak life. Yes. And so one of the challenges I would give to our audience today is just one place or one person you go today, speak life. Speak life into someone today.
Yes. So who are you going to speak life into today? Sometimes, believe it or not, when you put things out in the atmosphere, that it helps you hold yourself accountable, but it also helps other people hold you accountable. And they can say, well, did you ever speak life into Kim today? I noticed that you said that. Actually, Lee, just so you know, you can actually find, I see your comment. You said, is this recorded? Let me tell you where you can definitely go to get this at all times. You can also go right to our YouTube channel. While you're there, Lee, go ahead and take a moment and subscribe, please. All of y'all, go over to the Kim Jacobs Show, our YouTube channel. Watch some of the episodes that you may have missed, and then also subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is the Kim Jacobs Show. It's right there, youtube.com/Kim Jacobs Show. That's to answer your question, Lee. You can go and get the recording there.
I'm a subscriber.
Thank you for subscribing. And yeah, speaking of which, all of y'all over there in the virtual studio audience, how many of you have subscribed to the Kim Jacobs Show? I don't know. I want to hear some comments. Okay. So I'm excited about what we talked about today, Dr. TJ. And I think that, I forget what point I was making. Help me. That's when you're in your 20s, right? I don't know what point I was making.
You were asking people, where are they going to speak life today?
That's right. Thank you. See, now you're my co-host. Go, Dr. TJ. Go. It's your birthday. You did that real serious too. Like, hey. All right, we're being so silly. Listen, who are you going to be able to speak life into today? Because it could be a matter of life and death for that person. We don't know what people are going through, what they're dealing with. And I mentioned I have a friend that's dealing with something seriously heavy today with the passing of someone very dear. So yeah. Make sure we speak life. All right. So listen, tomorrow I do want to let you all know that we have, speaking of speaking life and freedom and things of that nature, I think it's befitting to tell you that tomorrow we have a woman named Janet Butts, Executive Director of the Free Indeed Project of Charlotte, North Carolina. She's actually the power of living free indeed is what we're going to be talking about on tomorrow's episode. So if you've ever wanted to live free, not just free, but free indeed, you definitely want to tune in to hear this inspirational woman share her journey of what she's had to overcome to become who she is today. And I know that she deals with the Free Indeed Project, which has something to do with the prison system. You don't want to miss this episode, so make sure you tune in. It's going to be really great. All right, so that's our show today. Closing comment, Dr. TJ?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say thank you, Kim. Thank you for having me on today. This is my first podcast ever, so you've helped me. Yes, you brought a dream to me to come true today. And so thank you. I truly, you are the sunshine in my life today. And I know that wherever you go, you do speak life into individuals. You spoke life into me today. And I'm excited to continue to be a follower and a subscriber so that I can continue to find out how to speak life into other individuals.
I can't wait to be a part of your whole journey, as I already am. I'm quite excited about some things we're doing together. And everyone, make sure that you all continue to support Dr. TJ Naiman on her journey. I'll also let you know you can definitely pour into the Kim Jacobs Show. It's the way that we keep the program thriving. So any of these ways that you see here, take a moment to do that. And I always let people know too, the views expressed on the show do not always reflect that of the actual show itself. Even some of my own views don't even reflect that of the actual show. So just keep that in mind. And if you are a motivational speaker, business owner, author, or you're interested in getting your story out to the world, make sure that you go to kimjacobsconsulting.com so that you can start your journey of becoming a talk show host. I will train you for 6 weeks, one-on-one, and it is an amazing training. It is endorsed by Les Brown, and I'll put that link in the comment section for you to as well. He does endorse the program and did a video on it, and we'll be able to have you go on this journey with us, as well as have a graduation. It's going to be an exciting time. So, all right, everybody, we will see you. Thank you, Dr. TJ Naiman. You are an amazing guest.
Thank you, Kim.
So thank you for being here today. Everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Kim Jacobs Show.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Like I said. Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of the Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world, one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on